Avoid these engine braking habits. If your engine had a voice, it would probably be screaming right now, because some of the stuff you're doing behind the wheel is slowly destroying it. Today, I'll show you the 9 engine-killing habits that too many drivers are guilty of, and more importantly, how to avoid them. The first engine-killing habit is ignoring the warming period. Listen, I've seen countless engines destroyed because people treat cold metal like it's ready to rock from the get-go. When you first fire up that engine, especially on a cold morning, your oil is thick like molasses and hasn't reached all the critical components yet. The clearance between metal parts is actually about 50% tighter due to thermal contraction. That means when you hammer down on a cold engine, you're basically sandpapering your own engine internals. Modern engines don't need 10 minutes of idling. That's old school thinking. What they do need is about 30 to 60 seconds before driving off, and then a gentle drive for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Keep it under 3,000 RPM until your temperature gauge shows normal. This is absolutely critical if you've got a turbo. Those things spin at insane speeds, upwards of 200,000 RPM, and they rely entirely on oil pressure. A cold turbo with inadequate oil is just a countdown to an expensive replacement. The second engine-destroying habit is running low on oil. I can't tell you how many engines I've seen completely toast themselves because someone thought the oil light was just a friendly reminder. Let me set this straight. That oil light isn't saying, "Hey, schedule an oil change when convenient." It's screaming, "Stop driving right now or catastrophe is imminent." By the time that light comes on, you're already in the danger zone. Oil doesn't just lubricate, it's the primary cooling system for many internal components. Those engine bearings operate with clearances you can barely see with the naked eye, just thousandths of an inch. Without proper oil pressure, these surfaces hit temperatures above 300 degrees Fahrenheit within seconds. Every engine burns some oil between changes, typically a quart every 1 to 3,000 miles, depending on the vehicle. That's why checking your dipstick every couple of weeks is non-negotiable. Don't wait for scheduled maintenance. And here's what separates the pros from the amateurs. If you ever hear unusual engine noises while driving, pull over, wait 10 minutes for the engine to cool, then check your oil. Those 10 minutes could be the difference between a quick top-off and a $4,000 rebuild. The third engine killer is lugging, running in too high a gear at low RPM. You know that shuddering vibration when you're climbing a hill in 5th gear and your RPMs drop below 1500? That's your engine sending out an SOS. When you force an engine to run at low RPMs under load, each cylinder firing creates massive stress on your crankshaft and connecting rods. Those vibrations you feel are harmonic frequencies that are literally trying to shake your engine apart from the inside. This is even worse with turbocharged engines because the turbo isn't spinning fast enough to provide proper boost, creating fuel mixture conditions that can damage your engine over time. The fix is dead simple: downshift. Your engine has a sweet spot, usually between 2 to 4,000 RPM for most modern vehicles. Keeping it in this range when under load will make your engine last dramatically longer. Now, before I get into the next engine-killing habit, do me a quick favor. If you're picking up what I'm putting down here, smash that subscribe button. I drop these real-world automotive insights every week, and trust me, your car wants you to watch them. The fourth way people destroy their engines is by ignoring fluid leaks. That little drip in your driveway? It's not character, it's a countdown timer. Every fluid in your engine serves a critical purpose, and they all operate under pressure. What's a small leak today will absolutely become a larger one tomorrow. And what most people miss is that these fluids typically leak onto hot components, creating a genuine fire risk. Here's a technique mechanics use. Place a clean piece of cardboard under your parked car overnight. The position and color of the fluid will tell you exactly what's leaking and where. Amber or brown near the engine is oil. Red or pink toward the middle is transmission fluid. Green or orange near the front is coolant. The most dangerous leaks are often coolant leaks because they can be internal, between cylinders and cooling channels, creating steam that cracks cylinder heads when they overheat. The fifth engine-killing habit is red line addiction. Look, I get it. That engine sound when you're pushing max RPM is automotive poetry. But here's what's happening that you can't see. At maximum RPM, your engine's pistons are changing directions so fast it'll make your head spin, up to 200 times per second in some engines. The forces are mind-blowing. Pistons experience over 10,000 Gs during each direction change. That's more force than a fighter pilot in an emergency maneuver. What's really happening is your oil system is struggling to keep up, leading to momentary starvation at critical bearing surfaces. It's like trying to keep a water slide lubricated with a garden hose. There's just not enough flow to cover everything properly. An occasional trip near redline won't kill your engine, of course, but making it a daily habit absolutely will shorten its lifespan dramatically. There's a reason race engines get rebuilt after just hours of operation, while street engines can go 200,000 plus miles. The pro move is to stay within 80% of your redline for spirited driving and save those last 1,000 RPM for when you actually need them. The sixth engine-destroying habit is what I call short trip syndrome. This one flies under the radar but is absolutely demolishing engines nationwide. When you primarily use your car for quick trips, under 10 minutes of driving, you're creating perfect conditions for accelerated wear. Your oil never fully warms up to optimal viscosity. Moisture in the crankcase doesn't evaporate, forming sludge. Fuel dilution occurs as the engine runs rich during warm-up, and your exhaust components never get hot enough to burn off carbon deposits. What's wild is that engines used primarily for short trips typically show double the internal wear at 60,000 miles compared to highway-driven counterparts. It's like aging your engine in dog years. If most of your driving is short trips, you need to modify your maintenance schedule. Change your oil every 3,000 to 4,000 miles regardless of what the manual says. Use high-quality synthetic oil that flows better when cold. And take your car for a solid 20-minute highway run at least once every 2 weeks to get everything properly heated up and working as designed. The seventh habit killing your engine is ignoring those strange noises. Your engine communicates with you. It's speaking through sounds, vibrations, and performance changes. When you ignore that language, you're missing critical warnings. That knocking sound is often detonation, fuel burning uncontrollably rather than in a controlled burn. This creates pressure spikes that can literally punch holes through pistons if ignored. Ticking noises typically point to valve train issues, usually a sign that oil pressure isn't reaching the upper parts of your engine. Could be a clogged oil galley, worn cam bearing, or failing lifters. Either way, it's not getting better on its own. Grinding sounds, especially during startup, that's often starter to flywheel engagement problems, and continuing to operate can damage both components. Mechanics use this technique where they record the sound with your phone and play it back at different speeds. This trick helps isolate exactly where the noise is coming from and can save hours of diagnostic time. The eighth engine-destroying habit is driving through standing water. Those YouTube heroes plowing through flooded streets? What they don't show is the aftermath. Modern engines typically draw air from low points in the vehicle. Even just 12 inches of water can be enough to allow water into your intake system. And unlike air, water doesn't compress, which means when your piston tries to compress it, something's gotta give. Usually the something is your connecting rod bending or breaking. This phenomenon, called hydro-locking, happens in milliseconds and often requires a complete engine rebuild. We're talking $5,000 to $10,000 minimum, depending on your vehicle. Now, water damage typically isn't covered under standard warranties or insurance policies unless you have specific flood coverage. If you absolutely must drive through water, keep it below the center of your wheels. Maintain a steady 3 to 5 miles per hour and tap your brakes afterward to dry the rotors. Then find a safe place to stop and listen for unusual noises. Trust me, an ounce of caution here saves pounds of cash later. The ninth way people destroy engines is skipping maintenance intervals. That maintenance schedule in your owner's manual isn't a suggestion, guys. It's a carefully calculated timeline based on real engineering data about component wear rates. Skip oil changes, you get sludge buildup that blocks oil passages. Miss timing belt replacements, you're gambling with catastrophic engine damage when, not if, it breaks. Ignore cooling system flushes, you're inviting corrosion and eventual overheating. The vehicles I see hitting 250,000 plus miles aren't necessarily the most expensive ones. They're the ones that have had every single maintenance item performed on schedule, without exception. Know what maintenance item gets neglected most often? The humble PCV, Positive Crankshaft Ventilation System. A simple valve that costs about $20 but can cause thousands in damage if it fails. It's the definition of penny wise, pound foolish to skip this one. Alright, you've stuck with me, so here's that bonus mechanic's secret I promised. What we call the Italian tune-up. Despite the funny name, this is a legitimate technique recognized by many manufacturers. Every few thousand miles, get your engine fully warmed up, then drive for about 15 to 20 minutes at higher RPMs, 3 to 4,000 while maintaining safe speeds. This process helps burn off carbon deposits from valve stems, pistons, and exhaust components that accumulate during normal driving. It's especially important for direct injection engines, which are more prone to carbon buildup than port injection engines. Just remember, only do this when the engine is fully warmed up and stay within legal speed limits. Think of it as preventative maintenance disguised as a fun drive. And that's a wrap. How many of these habits are you guilty of right now? Don't worry, this is a judgment-free zone, mostly. Comment below and let's laugh through the pain together. Before you go, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more, click on our other videos. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for watching.